Welcome to Section 7 of the OrientDB Getting Started training, the SQL Data Modeling API. There are four main categories of commands when working with classes: create, alter, drop, and truncate. Here are some concrete examples of working with classes. One is the most basic example of creating a class. 2 creates a class that extends the V base class, making it have the qualities of a vertex. 3 creates a class and specifies its default cluster. 4 creates an abstract class called DataItem. Abstract classes cannot directly store data. They only provide structure for subclasses. Number 5 changes the name of the person class to individual. 6 adds a cluster to the available storage clusters for the account class. 7 specifies a storage strategy for the car class. In this case, it was specified to be round robin. 8 deletes the person class from the schema, and 9 deletes all the records from all the clusters of the lead class. Cluster management commands are very similar to class commands. You can create, alter, drop, and truncate clusters. Here are some examples of working with clusters. Number 1 creates a cluster named Accounts USA. 2 creates a cluster and assigns it to a specific position of 3. The third example alters the Europe cluster's name to Italy. 4 modifies the Europe cluster to have automatic gzip compression. 5 updates the V cluster to have an auto-merge conflict strategy. 6 removes the Cars USA cluster altogether. 7 drops the cluster with ID 10, and 8 truncates all of the records from the North America cluster. Properties provide optional schema and rules to your data. They're very easy to work with and provide important functionality to your domain. You can create, alter, and drop properties. Some quick examples of working with properties: 1. Create a name property in the person class of type string. 2. Create a sales volume property of type float in company. 3. Create an embedded list property named tags with a list element of type string. 4. Alter the name property in the person class to be mandatory. 5. Alter the contact gender property to conform to a regex expression. 6. Alter the company tagline property to be named slogan. 7. Removes the property from the class. I find it most useful to see code examples in action. Here you can see I have OrientDB server up and running, and I'm logged into Studio. Let's build a data model. First, I'll create a person class. Create class, person. Control-Enter will run it. I'll go to the Schema tab, and you can see that I've made a class person. I'll switch back and forth between the Browse and Schema tab frequently to show you results. Let's make another class. Create class lead extends V. We'll extend the V class because it's a vertex. Go to the schema. You can see that lead now has a superclass of V. Let's create a property. Create property v.createdAt, and we'll make it of type date. By doing that, when we go to the schema, you can see that lead, which extends V, now has access to a createdAt property. We can retroactively add a superclass to the person class by entering alter class person superclass V. And just like that, we've added V as the superclass of person. We'll create another class, vehicle, that extends V, but it's also abstract. Abstract classes cannot have data directly written to them. They're there to provide structure to subclasses. So if we then take the vehicle class and insert data, insert into vehicle, set name equal to my car, you'll see that I get an exception because it's an abstract class. Let's create a new class, car, that extends vehicle. Now we'll create a car. Insert into car, set name equal to Ford Focus. And the data is written without a problem. We'll create a property in person, create property, person.name, and it will be of type string. We can alter that property, person.name, mandatory, true, and that will make it so that the name must be provided. We can try inserting into person, insert into person, set age equal to 10, and we'll get an exception because we're missing a mandatory property. If we change this up to a different syntax, content, and we'll pass in some JSON, name, which is the mandatory property, Charlie, and also pass in age, 10. Run it, and the data is written. Let's work with clusters a little bit. Create cluster USA. We'll store all of our people that live in the USA, and then we'll make one for Europe as well. We now have 2 clusters. You can see each was assigned an ID. We can reference clusters using the ID as well. Alter cluster, Europe, compression, gzip, and this will add automatic gzip compression to that cluster. Let's add these clusters to the person class. Alter class, person, add cluster, USA. We'll also add Europe, alter class, person, cluster selection, balanced. And this will add records to both clusters in a balanced fashion. That's a quick look at data modeling using SQL.